Brothers and sisters, Messenger Christopher, Spirit World X, back again with another Worldwide Paradigm Shift show, Shift Clip. And in my last video, I promised you, brothers and sisters of the Jewish community, an opportunity. I promised you of an opportunity to understand your mind, your field of consciousness, and how you should function here in this Matrix program within a three-dimensional conscious awareness psychosocial structure. All right, so I could have actually added it to my last video, but I'm going to add it now, okay, so that you, before I get out of here, so that you have an opportunity to get a little further ahead than all of the individuals who are attempting to hijack this redemption process that I have mentioned in several of my videos, namely the last one I just uploaded. Okay, so now, knowing that the Bible was written by Jews, okay, the Jews created scriptures that at the time of the writing of the scriptures and at the time of our devolution within these melanated genetics that we literally shouldn't be in as infinite beings, we at that time, okay, of the writing of these scriptures, we wrote these scriptures based upon the degraded survival model that had been, becoming widespread around the world or within our Matrix program at that time by individuals of our collective conscience that chose a low vibrational sensory depth perception sensory organ stimulation experience. And these scriptures were written so as to maintain the the high vibrational electromagnetic potential of a remnant of our degraded conscious collective, the being electromagnetically misaligned as it were. Okay, so the Gentiles, when they, of course, by negative electromagnetic manifest potential, when they, of course, when their genetic sequence evolved out of our low vibrational avatars, they then, of course, having a pre-programmed responsibility to, through negative pressure, by negative energy transfer from our electromagnetic misalignment, by negative pressure of that electromagnetically misaligned field of conscious awareness that we existed by then and presently exist by now, and through negative energy transfer, reactivate our standard 9-dimensional conscious awareness and 7 sensory depth perception through 5 sensory organ stimulation experience. Okay, this is our standard field of conscious awareness and sensory depth perception, sensory organ stimulation experience. Okay, so when the Gentiles decided they were going to establish this protocol, they, of course, used many individuals to create what we know to be the Old Testament and the New Testament, and of course the myth of the God and the devil, and the false Trinity myth, along with the false Yeshua myth, and Jesus Christ dying on the cross, and all of these different misinterpret or purposely construed deceptions so as to maintain not only their own survival, but as well advance the rebalancing protocol by which they were manifested out of our low vibrational gene sequence, okay? So now here we are, living within a trap house. That's where we are, brothers and sisters, my Jewish brothers and sisters, so-called Africans and blacks or FBAs. You're in a trap house, a psychosocial structure, okay, where Jews and Gentile, men and women, all right, are all the same. You know, they all say, hey, man, we're all the same. You know, we all follow the same laws, and, you know, we're all the same. We all bleed red. You know, this is so... So we've been taught and conditioned, all right? No. What I want to do first is say this. Out of the Bible, I'm going to go back to what I was saying about how it is the three-dimensional unconscious awareness established the false Christ Church, okay, by the writings of individuals of the Jewish remnant, okay, the high vibrational remnant field of conscious awareness. And so I want to go back to what these individuals wrote in their scriptures, in their texts, okay? We wrestle not with flesh and blood, but now see, this is where enlightenment comes in, okay? Instead of we wrestle with principalities in high places, I'm going to give you the truth, okay? We wrestle with unconscious beings who, through miseducation, through transgenerational miseducation, all right, of the mind, they have desired and still desire to control your identity and your energy, okay? We wrestle not with flesh and blood, but with unconscious beings who we can call spirits within physical bodies, who through miseducation of the conscious mind being infinite have desired to control our identity and our energy. So now we live in a trap house, a psychosocial structure, where Jew and Gentile, men and women, are said to be all the same. And of course, we're taught when we're children, okay, to see what we want as we grow up and we're educated in school, you know, with our, you know, by design social system surrounding us. We're taught to see what we want and to go out and get it, okay? Now, this is done with us having no education on our authentic Trinity, no education on our infinite, middle, co-created, Christ-conscious frequency identity, okay? Being co-creator of all other human and animal species, okay? Even the present avatars that we are in, all right? And the sensory depth perception, sensory organs, and sexual reproductive processes of all of these finite avatars and conscious contributions to our infinite electromagnetic conversion capacity to maintain a high vibrational sensory depth perception stimulation experience, okay? This miseducation is done with us having no knowledge on the benefits of an alkaline diet. Okay. No knowledge on electromagnetic conversion of our standard electromagnetic conversion model. That is the pre-programmed environmental sensory depth perception and high vibrational avatar experience that is produced by our capacity to acknowledge one another, male to male and female to female, as one another in consciousness, as a collective middle in consciousness, okay, high and low vibrational frequency aspects, all right, as the collective middle co-creative Christ Yang high frequency collective singular hive mind, who doesn't place non-electromagnetic low vibrational currency model value on one another's creativity or intelligence and decides to sell it to one another, but instead shares it with one another and builds together out of the pre-programmed electromagnetically attracted environmental and chemical conditions that exist for our infinite conversion, all right? Knowing that true value, all right, exists by the riches of electromagnetism and the power of our, of course, aligned sensory depth perception, okay? Knowing that true value comes from that and not from selling our intelligence to each other and low vibrational currency models. And so here we are now in America, and if we're in Africa, we're controlled by a low vibrational, three-dimensional and conscious awareness psychosocial structure that has literally decided to hijack a pre-programmed purpose that we, the co-creators of this Matrix program, pre-programmed them to have. Here we are in the psychosocial systems, ready to go hook up with who we like. Okay, but what we don't understand is the defense and potency of our electromagnetic attraction potential degrades, creating greater inversion of our frequency within, or creating greater inversion of our frequency when the conversion support, that means male or female body, that we as the middle co-creative Christ Yang conscious collective, okay, choose, isn't Yang conscious, all right? Isn't a aspect of our collective frequency, all right? Now, in respect to conscious function, all right, in our Matrix program, in light of hooking up and having a family, and in light of being co-creator of all forms, all right, but being spiritually blind, out of alignment, as it, your sensory, your consciousness, your conscious collective sensory depth perception, as it relates to synchronicity with our matrix's natural electromagnetic conscious conversion capacity. When you go, I'm going to try to explain this. I'm going to explain this in metaphors, all right? When you, citizen of this country, when you decide to go to the Army, all right? And by the way, what I want to say to you, brothers and sisters, is this is not about race, all right? It's not about superiority, all right? It's about balance of electromagnetic and non-electromagnetic conscious awareness, conscious function, and restoring, all right, our Trinity's balance of conscious contributors. That's what this is all about, okay? So I don't want to offend anybody, and I don't want any of you running around talking about, oh, I'm race, championing race and all that. Has nothing to do with that, okay? It has everything to do with reestablishing the natural order of electromagnetic and non-electromagnetic conscious contribution, which is something that the Gentile corporate hive mind should be doing, but instead they're attempting to override it and supplant it with something that is artificial, okay, and not real. Like they have supplanted your natural foods for genetically modified organisms. Like they've supplanted your natural behind with, a behind that's created out of petrochemicals, or breasts that are created out of petrochemicals. Where, your natural features, they have supplanted with plastic surgery. Everything about our identity model is literally bringing us to psychological failure, psychological destruction. So I'm here to restore balance to our natural order with the guidance of the highest division of our authentic Trinity. And believe me, they're very real. They are very present in this Matrix program at this time. You just haven't seen them yet. But I'm sure you're kind of getting a taste of exactly what, what their purpose in my life is. I would hope you are. And if you're not, well, farewell and good riddance. So, what I would like to explain to you, brothers and sisters, is conscious function from a metaphoric stance. Okay, all right. So when you go to the army, all right, you know that the army functions a specific way, and of course you also know that the same thing goes on with the Marines, okay, or the Army, Navy, Marines, and all the other branches of the military. Okay, they all function a specific way for a specific purpose. All right. Now the same thing is going on with all animals. The buffalo has a different, pre-programmed field of conscious contribution than the pigeon. The pigeon and the buffalo have differing pre-programmed fields of conscious function, although they're all five sensory for the most part. They all have the five senses. They all have different conscious contribution capacities, okay? Now, so let me go back to joining the service. So if you're in a war, brothers and sisters, okay, and the army is down, in other words, it's kind of, it's not functioning like it should, all right, but the Marines is up, all right, well, the National Guard is incomplete, and the breach will, of course, it will negatively affect a uniform national defense, right? Well, so is the same for us as a co-creative Christ middle conscious electromagnetic frequency collective, existing out of balance with the natural pre-programmed supportive conversion processes of our matrix program, to which the negative consequences are all around us, brothers, especially you, brothers and sisters, if you will. All right. The negative results are all around us. We are seen by all other women and men and brothers, even our own women, as non valuable, as non desirable to a high degree. And brothers and sisters, this has zero to do with your butt lift, your fake breasts, your fake eyelashes, or money, but it has everything to do with electromagnetism, your electromagnetically misaligned frequency of electromagnetic manifest potential. Okay? So when it comes to who you're going to date in your matrix program, how you're going to function consciously in your matrix program, remember these words. And remember what the consequences are for there being major breaches in your conscious function. I'd like to thank you all for joining me for this Worldwide Paradigm Shift show, and please prepare to be blown away with what comes next. In the next few Worldwide Paradigm Shift show shift clip uploads, brought to you by the High Council of the Order of the Crystal Keys. I'm your host, Messenger Christopher, Spirit World X, the true prophet, and long ago prophesied to come melanated Messiah. Farewell, and to you, all of my haters, continue to carry on.